Hello, this is Mark with Crew, and I'm here to show you how to edit our Thrive Studies site so that you can add some of these studies here and help us out. Thank you for being willing to do this and learn how to do it. So we're going to start from this page. This is the dashboard. I'm going to assume that you know how to get here and are familiar with WordPress, so that this is going to be helpful to you. And go to the Posts tab, and then go ahead and click Add New. We're going to put together a leader's guide and a student guide today, and I'm going to walk you through that. So the first place you're going to want to go is this page. This is a Sound Barriers Writer's Guide. You may be familiar with our Writer's Guides, hopefully, and you should have access to this part of our documents. This gives you our starting with God series, which is our follow-ups, also year 1 and year 2, and this series is in year 2, so we're going to click on that. And this is the Sound Barriers series, or the Evangelism series, which we're renaming it Sound Barriers right now. So click on that, and then each of those pages, each of those folders has these in them. Each of them has a lesson, each of them has a picture, each of them has a review card and video scripts. But what you're going to want right now is in lessons. And that's where you'll find the writer's guides. So all of our folders work just like that. In every series, it works just the same. The writer's guide is where all of our writers have written these studies, gotten feedback, edited them, and now they're ready to go to the design phase, which is what you're doing. And so this is kind of the place that we make all of our changes and keep them changes. This is the main document. So this needs to stay current all the time. And so this is where you're going to pull stuff off of and put it online. And if we make changes, we'll also make changes to this document. We are going to do the Giving Good News series or study today. And so the first thing you want to do is copy this, because you've got to put it in there. So this is the title, and then you'll want to type Leader's Guide right here. I think there's supposed to be an apostrophe there, and then push Shift and Enter, and it'll put it right below that Leader's Guide. Now if you just push Enter, it'll bump it down a line, and you can't get close. But we want it close right up on it, so you push Shift and Enter, and it'll put it right there. The next thing we're going to do is put a picture in. So let me show you how our pictures work. Going back here to our Google Drive, we've got lessons and then pictures. So in the pictures folder is where we're going to put all of the pictures for this study. Each of our series, our whole series is going to be in here. Now, we don't really pick the images for these studies until the design phase. So I'm going to be doing that, picking this pictures probably at the same time that you're editing this. So they may not be in here yet. And so today we're going to use a picture from a different series. But when they're done, they'll be in here, and they'll look like this. There will be a square one, because we have some needs for square ones. The original picture, which this one happened to be square. A circle one, we need that for the PDFs, and then the header, which you're about to use. So these will all be in here. I'll go ahead and make them for all of them and just stick them in here, and they should be in here. If they're not in here, this is what I want you to do. Just use another picture. Make a placeholder with another picture. So maybe this one, like we're doing today. And then when the picture is in there, you can swap it out. So just make that the way that we do it. So how do you do it? You get the picture, you download it. It'll pop up right there, and you drag it over here, or drag it somewhere. There you go. So now it's on the desktop. It's going to be easy to get to. We go back to our document, and we click Add Media, and we drag them in here. Notice I've already got some in here. These were other failed attempts at making this video. We got it, and we drop it in there. So that's how you get a picture in there. And what you want to do is open up a another one of these and use it as a guide. So we've got the big and close study here, and we're just going to look through and make sure we get it right. And right under here is the tagline. So if we go to the tagline in our study, it is getting to the gospel. What happened there? Our editor is not paying close attention as I was hoping. So getting to the gospel, and then just make sure that is centered. So boom, centered. And now we just do some cutting and pasting from these other series. So we've got this series and all this good stuff right here, and we're just gonna, instead of trying to type it in and format it just right, cut and paste. Boom, cut and paste. Now you'll need to make some changes here. So this is the, what is it called? Sound barriers series. And these are all different. I also would, and any link that you copy over, unlink it. So unlink this. It'll just, it just causes problems if you leave links. It's so much easier to spot a link that should be there but is not there than to spot a link that looks like it's there but it's actually linked to something else. So just take all the links out, kind of start from scratch with these links, and then we'll rename these. So this is actually called the Getting Started study, and this one is Going Deeper, and this is the one that we're on right now, which is called, so that's Going Deeper, Giving Good News, and then the last one is Decision Time. So that looks good. Now something else I do on these is you highlight in bold or underline in bold the one that you're on. So you can see an example of that here, where this is the new study and these are the 4 Jesus studies, and I highlighted this, I bolded it and underlined it. On the teacher study, I bold and underline it. So it kind of gives you a sense of where you are in these 4 studies. So we're doing that here, and so I'll unbold this and underline it. And then since this is actually the Giving Good News study, I'll bold and underline it. And these just leave as they are. When we do links, I'll tell you more about those. Okay, so next we're going to make this section. So just cut and paste again from here, this leaders prep. Actually, let me show you how to do this leaders prep part. I usually do a lot of cutting and pasting, but let's just check this out. So you type in leader prep. Let's make sure it's leader prep. If you want to know what it's supposed to be, just always go back to the confidence studies, the first follow-up series, and so we just kind of model it after these, and we'll just make sure we kind of keep the confidence or these right. So you can see the leader's guide at the top there, the picture, all of this stuff is how it's supposed to be. So the leader prep is what we're going to do next. Got that. It is a heading 1 and it's left justified. And then you might notice the line right there, and that line is just this line right there. So that kind of gets you the leader prep. The next thing is just a lot, again, is cutting and pasting. So you come back down to not decision time, but like Giving Good News. And you got the tagline, you got the passage here, and we're gonna copy everything up to here, up to the launch. See the launch there? We're gonna copy that. and paste it right there. So there's the leader prep stuff. Now notice they're kind of spaced out too much. So delete, and when you push enter on this, again, I think I showed you this earlier, it puts too much of a space there. I want them right up against it. So the way to fix that is push shift. If you push shift and enter, it'll go right below it without a line in between. So you just have to do that with all these. Takes a little bit of time, but it is worth it. By the way, as I'm doing this, I am going to just do this whole thing, and it is going to take time, probably nearly half an hour. And you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can skip parts of it. I want to put the whole thing here so that if you have any snags, you can always go back to that part when I did it, and it's easy for you to see. So some things to notice here, the image paragraph, it's always going to be incomplete. We don't really pick the images until we get to this stage, so we don't have a picture for this yet. So I will later come in and I'll type a paragraph that fits the image. It kind of explains how this image fits the study, but it's not done yet, so just it's fine the way it is. And these are indented like that. That's good. So that's the leaders prep section. Next, again, just go back to your template that you're doing from one of these other ones. And the next thing is the creative touches element. So I would just highlight all of this. I'm going to fix this real quick. Somebody made that gray, and I'm just going to make it, if you just click there, then it reverts back to the theme color. So copy all that and paste it at the end here. Now this had a line on it that didn't come with the copy, so I'll make another line. And then again here, take off any of these links. These links link to a different study, a different series. So take them off. It is much easier to find where the links should be but aren't, than to realize that these links don't go to the right places, to check all your links. That's really time consuming, but just take the links off and we'll be able to later go back and recognize, oh, that link shouldn't be there if we miss it. I mean, I'm going to have you go and put it in, but if we miss it, it'll be easier. So then we got the study. And so we have cut and pasted all this. And then we go to launch. And again, it's just cutting and pasting. So go all the way down to the end here. The review questions are not included in this, so don't, they're just for the review cards, so don't include them. You on this page or on this part of the project won't need those at all. And then again, you got the spacing issue, so you go ahead and go back and start working on that. And when you get to explore and launch, these are actually heading 4. So please remember to do that. Make them heading 4. They don't actually stand out too much within the editor, but when you get to the page, they'll stand out a little bit more. Explore look like that. So here you notice that this is indented a little bit. We do not want it indented like that. But the problem is when you try to do it, it's going to make it a heading 4. Well, I just changed the heading, which just changes everything. So I'm just going to push it down here a little bit. When you try to do this, this is what happens. 1 dot, and you push space, and it automatically indents. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how do I fix that. This is how you fix it. 1 dot space, and then just push delete or backspace right there, and it'll go back there. And if you get the 1 right, all the other numbers will follow suit. So backspace, shift, enter to get that down there, and then the 2, enter, 2 space or 2 dot space, and it'll be fine from here on out. But that 1, get it right. And once you get it right, it'll be fine. So again, feel free. I'm just going to go through this. I'm shifting every time to get those where they need to go. Feel free to just zoom on ahead if you feel like you know what I'm doing here. I want to just make sure that you have what you need to do all this the way that we want it done. So here we're on apply again, and we bump that to heading 4. Whoa, not 78. I know that this can be a tedious job. Thank you for doing it. What I love about the work here is that this is really going to allow people all over the world to have access to good studies. And the better we make these, the more value that brings. People are already from Australia, China, Africa, the Ukraine. We're having hits from all over the place people are using these studies. So we have about 800 users a month that are using this right now, and I imagine that's only gonna climb. So thank you for being a part of it. Every time you invest in this, you're allowing people to access God's Word in a way that they otherwise wouldn't. Even more exciting, though, is I think, is you are allowing people to learn how to lead a Bible study. That's the coolest thing about Thrive, is that it really helps them learn how to lead a small groups. Teenagers lead small groups and get into ministry. So here we are at the bottom of the page, and there's stuff on the bottom that I want you to do too. So go all the way to the bottom, clickety-click right here. And this is the last study, the last question, and then there's all of this stuff that I want you to just copy that. And let me show you what it is. It is this. So there's a button that code is, and then there's that, and then there's a space here. That little spacer helps us kind of separate ourselves from this. So we're going to just copy and paste that right in here. And that'll be all you need to do. It all goes to the same place. Okay, so all of these things look right now. What we need to do next is just to go make sure the links are there. So we don't have these pages set up yet, but once this page is set up, you need to go through and make sure this links to that study. So boom, it'll show up right like that. Let me show you how that looks in action. On the Jesus page, I click on the payment and it goes right to that payment site. There it is. So they should work just like that, so that you can scroll through all of them. You can scroll through. We're in a minute, we're going to make student notes, and you can come back through and link this to the student note of this study, so that leaders can easily send their students there. And then the download PDF, we're actually going to start calling this download print version. Not everyone is familiar with PDF for some reason. So download print version, and what you do with that is you just point it to the download page. Let's see if I have that open anywhere. Negatory. All right, so it points you to the download page. If you are not pretty comfortable with WordPress and working with it and working with code and HTML, then just don't do anything with that link. But if you're pretty confident in it, you know your way around, you know how to use anchors specifically, then I'm fine with you trying to tackle this. Now, when we put this link here, this link goes to the download page, but it goes to a link on the download page. So each of those series is linked to an anchor right above the picture. So here's a picture for this whole series, and here's all the stuff for the series. And you'll notice, the anchors right here. This anchor is for Growing with God. So all this Growing with God studies, their download PDF points right here. So you can see this. Since we don't have the pictures yet, we don't even have this one set up. So the sound barrier series, it isn't set up for this yet. So we don't have an anchor. I'll try to get one as soon as possible. But if you're comfortable with this, you can give it a shot. And the way you do that, here's the anchor, or the image of the anchor. But really, you have to get into the text and the HTML code to find the anchor. And this is what an anchor looks like. And so if you want to find those, you can totally do that if you're familiar with this. If you're not, listen, please don't dink around on this, because it's easy to delete stuff and mess stuff up. So if you're comfortable with it and familiar with it, do it. If not, I will go back and do it later. It's no big deal. Okay. So and the next thing you do, you're going through and you're doing your links. So the links to the passages, this is John 4:3-26. So this is what we link to. We link to a Bible Gateway, NTL, New Living, or NLT, New Living Translation. That's English Standard Version. What we usually link to is New Living Translation, and this is why we have a lot of people who are not biblically literate, and we also have a lot of, or growing number of English as a second language students, and so we want the language to be as simple and clear as possible, and so we're using that as a link. So we also, I want you to link to the entire passage. There are going to be places in here where it just says, look at verse 13, or here 4:13, 14. Don't link to just John 4:13-14. Link to the entire passage, so that they can have the context, and they're not having to jump in and out and in and out, in and out all the time of those links. They can just go maybe back and forth between the questions and one link. It just makes it much less tedious when you're actually doing the study, if they're using their phones right there. So I got this one link, and I'm going to make this link good for that, and I'm going to use the same link for all of these. So I'm looking for any place that it might, here's another verse, by the way. Any place that has another verse, put a link to that verse in there too. Since I've got this on my clipboard, I'm just going to go ahead and push past that. But I do want to try to make this tool as useful for everybody as possible. So here, so this is what I'm talking about, verses 16-18. I'm using the same link, which links to the entire passage. But if you see other links like this, anything you can do to make this more useful, more user-friendly, more just quick and easy, please do that. Put links to random verses, put, where it fits, links to other parts of the study. Just put your thinking cap on and try to think, how would a user want this to work, and try to make it like that. I'm not going to put all these here. I'll let you do it, whoever's doing this one, but put links to all of these passages in here, so that they can easily get to them. Someone's already put a link to Wouldn't You Like to Know God Personally, the God Tools app, which is great. That's kind of what you do for this. So put the links in there, and when you put the links in, I think that's kind of the last thing you need to do. You will need to come back later and clean this stuff up once everything is in place, but this is kind of done. So I'm going to push publish. That is the leader's guide, but we still need to do the student notes, which is significantly easier. So this is what you do. You copy the leader's guide, so from the top all the way to the bottom. Then you go back to the posts page, and you add new. Oh, something I forgot to do. Let's go back. This is important. We need to remember to put categories on each of our posts. Don't forget the categories, because that's how we find them. So the category for this one is first the Crew Studies Year 2. Want to make sure that is checked. And then this one is the Evangelism Study, or the Sound Barriers Study. So whichever series it's in, you want to click that too. And that's all you need to put for the categories for the Leader's Guides. Now you add new, and I've already copied everything, and so I just need to paste it like that. And I need to change this as Giving Good News. So now I've got the student notes that I need to put in here. So I'll type in student notes so that it's clear when you get to the top of the page what this is. These go away completely. We don't use those for student notes. And then these, if you have a link here, unlink them, because these are going to start pointing to the other student notes. So this will point to the Decision Time student notes instead of the Decision Time Leader's Guide. So you'll want to unlink these and then relink them once you have them all in place. The Leaders Prep section is completely gone, including the Creative Studies. In fact, all the way up through the study, completely gone. So all that's left is Launch. And then give it a little bit of space and put a line here because we like lines. The next thing you do is you just take out you leave the bold print, leave the things that it's for everyone to read, and you delete anything that's just for the leader. So you delete the answers to the questions. Mostly that's it, the answers to the questions. So what's left with is the student has all the questions that are being asked, and they have the links to the verses. Now, again, put your thinking cap on this, and if there are other things that you think, this would be helpful for a student to have, leave it in here. Sometimes we'll have illustrations or links to videos or those kind of things that, they're just good for the students to have. So we want to leave those in here too. This is a great example. I think we'll leave this paragraph in here because it's got this link to this thing, and it's good. And this isn't going to hurt. It's good for them to see what is going on there. But most of the notes we're going to take away. So this is what a student notes page looks like. Again, you'll need to go back and do the links. You'll also want to link these pictures. So the picture is linked to the series, I think. Nope. Well, where I want the pictures to link is to go back to the series page. So to go back to this page, this is the page, every series has one. It's the series, it has a little thing here. I'd like to put a video in here that talks about the series eventually. But when you click on this page, it goes to the study, but when you click back on it, I wanted to go back to the series page, which is not happening, which is fine. So I guess don't worry much about that. When you finish that, publish it. And you know what? Again, I forgot categories. So we're going back to the categories, and this one has an extra category. It's the same thing. Crew Studies Year 2. We should change that to Thrive Studies. I forgot. And this is Evangelism and Student Notes. You need to click Student Notes so it shows up. That's really the only category that's different with these two. And that's pretty much it. You can see here the Giving Good News. They look the same right here. The only way you can tell they're different is this one has student notes and this one doesn't. So when you're looking for them later, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh, one more thing. In each of these, we need to change the URL, the link. So in the student notes, Giving Good News, just like that with the hyphens between is good, the whole thing. And then hyphen study. In all the student notes, the last one is hyphen study. And update that. In all the leaders guides, it's hyphen leader. So Giving hyphen good hyphen news hyphen leader. And actually, you can fix it right here in the quick edit. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me go check and make sure that it actually did change it. Yeah, it did. So that's what you want it to look like. We keep it consistent like that so that it's easy for us to remember them. So I think that's all you need to know. Please go through and do all your series, and let me know if you have any questions. mark.michael@cru.org. I'd love to help you in any way you can, because you are helping a tremendous amount, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for all your work. I will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.